Have you ever met someone who constantly talks about the life they're going to build? They have ambitious goals, exciting plans, and a clear vision of the future they want. They believe they're capable of more. Yet somehow, year after year, nothing really changes. What's surprising is that many of these people aren't lazy or untalented. In fact, some spend more time thinking about success than most people ever do. So why do they stay stuck? Psychology suggests that the answer may have less to do with motivation and more to do with a few hidden mental patterns that quietly keep people from turning dreams into action. In this video, we'll explore 6 psychological reasons why some people dream big but struggle to move forward. These are common behavioral patterns, not diagnoses, and by the end, you may recognize one that has been quietly influencing your own life. The first reason is what we might call the illusion of progress. Most people assume that thinking about success naturally leads to success, but the mind doesn't always work that way. When you spend a lot of time imagining a better future, your brain can generate some of the positive emotions associated with achievement before you've actually achieved anything. You picture the successful career, the healthier lifestyle, the financial freedom, or the person you want to become. Those thoughts feel good. They create excitement and hope. The problem is that these feelings can sometimes reduce the urgency to act. The dream begins to feel productive even when no real progress is being made. Over time, some people become experts at planning, researching, and visualizing while avoiding the uncomfortable step of actually starting. The second reason is fear disguised as preparation. Many people say they're waiting until they're ready. They believe they need more knowledge, a better plan, or greater confidence before they begin. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes preparation becomes a hiding place. The moment you take action, reality starts giving feedback. Success becomes possible, but so does failure. Mistakes become visible. Rejection becomes possible. For some people, that uncertainty feels threatening. As long as the dream remains in the future, it stays perfect. It can't fail because it hasn't been tested. Without realizing it, they replace action with endless preparation. They keep gathering information and making plans, convinced they're getting closer to starting. But deep down, what they're really avoiding is the risk that comes with trying. The third reason is the myth of feeling ready. Many people believe confidence comes before action. They think successful people felt completely prepared before they started. But experience often shows the opposite. Action usually comes first. Confidence comes later. Think about learning any new skill. Nobody feels fully prepared on the first day. Whether it's starting a business, learning a language, or pursuing a new goal, uncertainty is almost always part of the process. Yet people often interpret uncertainty as a sign that they should wait. They tell themselves they'll begin when they feel more confident. The problem is that confidence is usually built through experience. The very thing they're waiting for can only be developed by taking action. As a result, they spend years waiting for a feeling that was never meant to arrive first. The fourth reason is overthinking. Thinking is valuable. Planning is valuable. But there comes a point where thinking stops helping and starts creating problems. Some people analyze every possible outcome, every risk, and every mistake that could happen. They want certainty before taking action. At first, this feels productive. It feels responsible. But constant analysis consumes mental energy. The brain becomes stuck in an endless cycle of questions and possibilities. Instead of creating clarity, excessive thinking often creates confusion. Instead of building momentum, it drains motivation. What's especially deceptive about this pattern is that it can feel like work. Someone may spend hours thinking about a goal and feel exhausted afterward. yet nothing has actually changed. Their mind has been busy, but their life remains the same. Sometimes the fastest way forward isn't finding the perfect plan. It's taking an imperfect step. The fifth reason goes even deeper. It involves identity. Psychology has long observed that people tend to behave in ways that align with how they see themselves. Imagine someone who wants to become disciplined, successful, or productive. On the surface, they genuinely want those things. But underneath, they may carry beliefs such as, "I'm not consistent," or "I never finish what I start." Over time, these beliefs become part of their identity. The brain naturally prefers consistency between beliefs and behavior. So when a person tries to change, internal resistance often appears. It's not because they're incapable of growth. It's because growth challenges an identity they've carried for years. This is why some people repeatedly return to old habits, even when they desperately want something different. Their goals are moving in one direction, while their self-image is pulling them in another. Lasting change often begins when people stop focusing only on what they want to achieve and start paying attention to who they're becoming. The sixth, and perhaps most subtle reason, is an attachment to potential. Potential feels exciting because it contains endless possibilities. It represents future success without present discomfort. Talking about big dreams can be incredibly rewarding. Imagining a better future creates hope and inspiration. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem begins when imagining success becomes more enjoyable than pursuing it. Real progress is usually repetitive. It's slow. It often involves small actions that don't feel exciting in the moment. Some people become emotionally attached to the idea of who they could become, while avoiding the process required to get there. They love the dream, but resist the daily work. As long as the goal remains a possibility, it stays perfect. The moment action begins, reality enters the picture. And reality is rarely as comfortable as imagination. Having big dreams is not unusual. Nearly everyone imagines a better future. The real challenge is not dreaming. It's acting despite uncertainty. As we've seen, the obstacles are often psychological rather than practical. Sometimes it's the illusion of progress. Sometimes it's fear hidden behind preparation. Sometimes it's waiting to feel ready, overthinking every possibility, struggling with identity, or becoming attached to potential instead of action. But here's the good news. The moment you recognize these patterns, you gain the ability to change them. You don't need perfect confidence. You don't need perfect timing. And you don't need every answer before you begin. In many cases, progress starts with a single action that breaks the cycle of waiting. The people who eventually transform their lives are rarely the ones with the biggest dreams. They're often the ones willing to move forward before they feel completely ready. If there's one thing to remember from this video, it's this. Dreams can inspire you, but action is what turns them into reality. The future you're imagining is built by the choices you make today, not the plans you keep postponing. So which of these psychological patterns do you think keeps the most people stuck? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy learning about psychology, human behavior, and self-development, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this.